There was a project recently that handed over 1 year, or I think in 8 months or 9 months before their deadline. The supply is more than the demand. Who are buying these apartments? Are they looking to flip? Because like you, there are 500 people who wants to flip. So do not flip over here. Here's what's special about this man, or maybe this company.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our podcast. I'm with Omar, and today we'll be speaking about Sobha Hartland too, a very interesting community.
Very, very interesting.
Omar, if you want to introduce what is the community, who developed it, well, obvious by the name, but who developed it, and just a little bit about the community.
Okay, so Sobha Hartland is a complex community. Now, Sobha Hartland started out back in 2015 or 2016, where the plot was given to PNC Menon. Now, I don't know if that's a name or his abbreviation for his full name, but his name is PNC Menon. So, PNC Menon is Indian, but he's gotten the Omani citizenship because he has built out Sultan Qaboos's palace back in the day. Now, how did he get to that position? I have no idea. But obviously, he worked super hard to get to the position where he got the opportunity to design the Sultan of Oman palace. Now, he did such a good job that Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid heard about him. So he invited him to Dubai to build out, to design District 1, by the way. District 1, which is the villas in Medan.
That's also by Sobha, yeah?
No, that's not by Sobha. That's it's like private to Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid. The name of the development and the developer is District 1, by the way.
Oh.
It belongs to His Highness. So he has designed it for them. Now, I'm thinking maybe he bought out the plot next to it, or maybe His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid gave him the plot as a gift. I'm thinking that's maybe as a reward for
Doing so well.
Yeah, and maybe instead of the compensation of money, maybe he's given him this plot as a gift, because this plot was very precious. I mean, it's a Medan plot. No one can get their hands on a Medan plot because it belongs to the government, to the royal family. It's such a prime plot. So the square footage is around 8 million square foot for Sobha Hartland. Now, when I say Sobha Hartland, I'm speaking about Sobha Hartland 1, because Sobha Hartland 2 comes on later. I'm not going to speak about that now. That's like an extension to another community that Sobha is building right now. But even Sobha Hartland 1 is not fully complete. There are stuff that's ready. There are projects that are ready already, properties that are ready. But there are still a couple more buildings still not handed over. Not a couple, more than a couple. So, but it's starting to mature out. The community is starting to mature out. So the community consists of villas, townhouses, and apartments. Now, going back to speak about Mr. Menon, so his wife, Sobha, her name is Sobha, and he's named the community on her. So here's what's special about this man, or maybe this company, Sobha itself. Sobha is an all-around 360-degree company, basically. They do everything. They're the developer, they're the consultant, they're the contractor. Now, what does that mean? And I'll hit on this point more rather than speaking more on the community, because the community anyway can be searched up, and the buildings and the names and the apartments. I'll speak on that shortly. But the main highlight of Sobha Hartland is this concept of they are the developer, they are the consultant, they are the contractor. Meaning they are, or Mr. Menon is the one who funds out the project, is the one who also has the team that designs out the master community, that designs out the buildings, designs out the villas, the architecture and the everything, and they're the ones who also build it. So it's all in one company. Because usually you'd be like, isn't that the normal?
Yeah,
like,
I was about to say, I thought
Exactly.
that was the normal.
Exactly. But if you go really deep into the construction industry, that's not the normal at all. Because usually it is, whether it's Amar, Miras, Nakhil, Ellington, all these developers, they are the developer. They hire out a consultant, which is basically an architect company or an engineering consultancy company that design out the building or design out the community for them. And then the consultant give out, or basically the developer gives out the tender, or there's a tender bid. Basically, contractors then bid that after the design is done. Basically, these materials we're gonna use. The apartments are gonna be designed this way. This much square footage, this much apartments. How much can you build it out for? So contractors come and say, I can build this out for you in 3 years for 500 million. Another contractor comes, I can build out this project for you for 550 million in 3 years, for example, and this and that, and the materials they use and where they'll source it out from and stuff like that. So then they choose now obviously people will think like, I'll choose the cheapest contractor. It doesn't work like that.
Because the materials and the quality and the skill of labor, I'm sure they're different.
That too, but it also makes a difference with what contractor is that. Who's the contractor? If this is a premium community, I want the best contractor to be building out this community. So I'll pick out an expensive contract to a contractor. Now, all this is outsourced. The consultant is outsourced. The designer is outsourced. The contractor is outsourced. And what do I mean when I say outsourced is that they have a profit margin. Besides their engineers being paid out and stuff like that within their quota price of their work, there's a profit margin for that company. Because it's a private company, it belongs to someone.
And they need to make money.
Exactly. And the contractor the same. So on the developer, that's extra cost. So at least 10 to 20% of the profit is given out to these companies. Or let's say cost, or not profit, cost is given out to these companies. Now, if I'm the one who's doing that, I'm saving up on that money. Because I'm that company. I'm the company itself.
Yeah.
So most of my money will come out of the development, selling the development, not by building it. Because it wouldn't make any sense if I'm the one funding it and I'm the one, and me as a consultant asking for a certain price. No, I'm just affording the human resources, which are the engineers. So I have the engineers, I have the labor, I have the materials too. By the way, they outsource the materials too. Exactly. So they have everything. So what does that mean? It means the cost
Entry
to construction
prices are lower.
Not necessarily. That should be the case. That should be the case. It's not here though. But but actually, the cost of building out the project is cheaper for him.
So does the entry prices go lower?
No.
Oh, okay.
The profit margin is higher now.
Oh, okay.
To Mr. Menon.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the concept? Now, like I said, for example, if the consultant was to be given a contract of 200 million, the contractor was to be given out the contract of 1 billion. Altogether, that's how much? 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Now, maybe I'm getting a profit. I'm selling this development for 3 billion. My profit is 1.5 billion. But if I have everything in-house, that cost could be cut down to, let's say,
1 billion.
1 billion or 900 million. I've saved up 500 million, which is profit margin to the company. So as a company, their profit margin is high. So that's amazing for the owner of this company. Yes, that's amazing for this company. The profit margin is amazing. Yes, they don't have so many developments. I mean, by now they have
I think like
4 or 5 master plans and 9 projects in total, because they have singled out projects like in Sea Haven, the one in beside the Amar beachfront. There is one in Motor City. There is one singled out projects, and then there is communities. They have, I think, by now five master communities.
I was thinking 5.
And 9 projects in total, like 5 including our master plans. 4 are just private. So
why don't all developers do that then? If they know it will benefit their pockets.
Now, I was going to speak about that. Now, quality control won't be the best. Now, obviously, look, when you have that, there's another advantage to having that all in-house company where you're the funder and the consultant designer and the one who's building out the project. Now it's quicker. That's why they hand over quick. There was a project recently that handed over 1 year, or I think 8 months or 9 months before their deadline.
Wow.
Like they've said the handover, for example, would be September 2025, for example. They've handed over in January.
That's unheard of.
That happened in the last few projects, by the way, where they were just like 9 months ahead of their handover date, which is normal. I've understood that because I'm from a civil engineer background. I've understood that because I know their concept.
But
now
that's
why I'm explaining.
Though.
Exactly, because you don't have you don't have control over the consultant and the contractor. They're not with you, because look, the consultant is the one that's close to the developer, the designer, because I designed for the developer. Now I have control to the contractor. Now I can make his work late because, Mr. Contractor, this is not how I designed it. You need to alter your work and go according to the plan. Now I have to fix up some stuff, change designs here, change designs that, to go according to the plan. That will cost
money.
That will cost money and time. That's why over there they don't have that. Why? They will not cost. At least let's talk about time, because that's the major factor. Cost is also another factor, but time is another factor because they're all one team.
They don't miscommunicate.
There is no miscommunication. Exactly. They're all one company. So everyone is benefiting for one.
Yeah.
The contractor is not benefiting for himself because that's a consultant, another company. They're not against each other. They're not different companies. If they're all one company, they're working for one benefit, which is building out the project in the best quality and the quickest time handover. And we're all one company. We're
Yeah.
all under one umbrella management, basically. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, that will affect, I wouldn't say quality, but expertise. Because there is so much you can, unless you bring out talent in your company. Because you're not the biggest contractor, you're not the most famous contractor in the world. Because what if you want to build out a fancy project and you're dependent on your own engineers in the company? There will be another contractor or the consultants
With better engineers, with better planning, with better that can
better
come in.
expertise, exactly. And up, that's only if you do not have one of the best engineers in your company, which I think they do. Because funny enough, by the way, I was a civil engineer back in the day, and I was a field engineer in the greens phase. So one of the buildings called as greens,
The
they were-
apartment building.
the apartment buildings. They were in 3 phases, and altogether, I think they were above 10 buildings. Like I think 16 or 14 buildings altogether in the greens. I was working out in phase 2. That time it's 2019, a year before COVID, or 2018, I think, something like that. By the end of 2018, I've seen their work. They really do care about their quality, and they are very quick. The turnaround to be handing over is, I mean, or the tasks. Let's say the task, because I was working in several projects, so I was in greens for 2 to 3 months. I go to another project, I come back, and I see so much has changed since the last 3 months that I've missed. Like, whoa, in 3 months you guys progress like this. So their quick was super quick. Their work the work tasks
Was
done
super quick.
was super quick. So that's the advantage of Sobha like not Sobha Hartland, like Sobha the company itself. So that's what I'm impressed about, because usually companies cannot perfect that. By the way, it gets, it's too much to control, that the company gets so big to the point where like you can't control that. However, it's manageable and controllable in Sobha. Now, also there's another thing. I think because of the hit of either maybe COVID times or before COVID times, maybe they couldn't afford building out some projects, that they've given out the plots to Ellington. They've given out some plots to other developers, but it was just Ellington as far as I know till now, and they've picked out the right developer because Ellington is known for its quality. So they didn't
Yeah.
want to give out those plots to other people besides maybe Ellington. Or maybe it wasn't within their maybe that part of the plot wasn't within their control. I have no idea. But Ellington buildings are just inside Sobha Hartland. So it didn't make any
Odd.
sense. There was no explanation for that. Or maybe there is an explanation. I didn't ask for it. But maybe they've given out some plots. Maybe they needed cash. Maybe they didn't have cash at one point and they needed cash. I have no idea.
Is it the similar situation about how Meras gave the plot to Amar for Dubai Hills, or no?
No, because Miras is backed by the government. They have a lot of funding. But Sobha is private. It's not backed by, except PNC Man is
himself.
yes,
Yeah.
capital himself. So maybe he needed cash, because at first, if you really think about it, Sobha at first wasn't famous. Heartland itself, Sobha Hartland itself wasn't famous, so they weren't selling so much. So he was building projects with no income as much. So he needed some cash to,
Yeah.
and he believed in his dream obviously so much that he needed cash. So he decided to let go of some of his plots to continue building other projects and also the marketing of it. And then meanwhile, it came.
And it worked.
It worked out. I mean, and his marketing is like aggressive now. He's copied the strategy of the Mac, where hired
Billboards everywhere.
besides billboards
and,
everywhere, he hired a lot of sales agents in the company. So there's like, I think 200 agents maybe, or more than 200 agents, because I see a lot of people in Sobha. Like when you go inside the sales gallery in Sobha, it's like I can't say fish market, but it's like so crowded. It's like, whoa, like what's going on here?
Yeah.
So now I want to speak also about the fact that 30% of the master community, by the way, was in like greenery. So I wouldn't say it's low density like other communities, like Berari, for example, but it's low density compared to other close by communities.
What is close by to this?
District 1, there is Azizi Rivera. However, Azizi Rivera are all buildings. No
All
villas and
apartments?
towns. Yes, this is complex, like mix of
Villas,
residential-
townhouses, and
like
apartments.
like a district one had villas, had semi-detached villas, not townhouses, and they also have apartments. Aziz is just apartments. Now you see this waterfront thing, the lagoon. Sorry, It's still not built out. It's dug up, but still not filled with water yet. I mean, it's hopefully within next year it should be handed over. Like this lagoon will be crossing along from.
So it's man-made, very
in
similar
between-
to
yes.
Tel Aviv.
No. Okay, so Tel Aviv is in inner kind of. I don't think this will be. They've mentioned. I think it will be either Crystal Lagoon or just a normal lagoon. I have no idea, because it is kind of confirmed and not confirmed. So up until we see, then it's a Crystal Lagoon, for example, or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just cutting between Azizi and Sobha Hartland. So Azizi is on the other side of the highway, and Sobha Hartland is on the other of the lagoon, and Sobha Hartland is on the other side of the lagoon.
So it's not inner, but rather like all the communities get to benefit from it, kind of thing.
Exactly. And also another thing, the Shoba did sell some plots here too. Like there were some waterfront plots given out over here. So I mean the villas made money, townhouses made money. They went up in price. The rentals are amazing over there. Now, apartments. Greens made money. I mean, they went up in price a little bit because also Greens was the favorite because of the sizes. The rest of the buildings, the size of for the one beds was like 500, 550 on average. There were some buildings with 600, 650.
Yeah.
Now that's the
Greens
that's
is 800, correct me if I'm
800
wrong?
plus, yes,
Yeah.
for the one beds. So it's like reasonable, and there were even some apartments that were duplexes. So Greens as like buildings. I mean, all the buildings are nice. If you enter any Shoba building, whoa, it is beautiful. But Greens is like kind of the city walk style. It's like short buildings, low inventory type of apartments, the bigger sizes. But Sobha Heartland apartments is yet to appreciate because the amount of inventory is. Now we'll go back to the supply demand equation. It
Yeah.
always gets me with anything. The supply is more than the demand. So who are buying these apartments? Are they looking to flip? Because don't take it because like you, and because Asians say that a lot. Like you, there are 500 people who wants to flip. So do not flip over here because it's not flippable. The demand is not crazy yet. Up until I feel like the demand could be crazy once the full community hands over.
Especially with the lagoon. That will definitely
Because if you
drive.
really think about it, there is not a fully handed over community from Shoba yet. This will be the by 2025 should be the full community should be, I think, mid or the end of 2025 the full community should be handed over. They have two schools, one of the highest end schools, is that even a word? Like two fancy schools basically over here at North
North London Collegiate and
yes,
Heartland
exactly.
International.
They're very fancy, by the way.
Yeah.
And not cheap. So it's amazing schools. There is amazing sports facilities. Every like facility you can think of in a community is in here, and it's very pristine. But why didn't the apartments go up in price? Is because the amount of inventory available for sale in the market comparing it to the demand. The demand is not super high right now because it's not super recognized as a community to, whoa, I want to live here yet, up until it's fully handed over, and then people start talking more about it. Because Shoba did not hand over a community yet, a fully handed over community. So up until it does that, then we can decide what happens to Shoba. Like, is it really a wow developer, or they're just good with villas and townhouses?
Is it a bust or is it like an actual thing where they
But
hand
if you
over
see the
beautiful
quality of
things?
Shoba is amazing, by the way. I mean, I don't like to say this, but they're kind of better than A'mar in the quality. In
Yeah.
at least in most of A'mar's basic projects, they're better quality. But if A'mar was to build something nice, obviously it would be chic.
Would it be better than Ellington or not?
I would
by
say
any
it's
chance?
almost Ellington level,
Really?
or even the same as Ellington level. You know, it's the same. But the problem is Ellington is still keeping to their concept of the sizes. The sizes are still good with Ellington.
Yeah.
They won't go super, because in Shoba they went super small.
500, 600 for one.
Yeah, and I think
bedroom
even
is
for
small.
hundreds even. So it's like
490 or
I would say something like that. Yeah, and they're kind of copying the idea of collective in Dubai Hills.
the studios branded as a one bedroom.
Exactly. So it's
Yeah.
like, and that's also to think commercially, by the way. So instead of building, let's say 300 apartments in the building, let's do 500 apartments in this building. So we split sizes. We make the apartments a bit smaller to sell more apartments. So they have thought of it commercially. And you never know. Maybe they're making up for their losses that they've had long time ago, because I did mention they've given out some plots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the cash inflow in the company wasn't the best at that time. Maybe they are making up for those times. But still, like, what are you doing for the people, basically? Is it
Yeah.
like, and by the way, ROI wise, it's amazing. The rentals over here are nice. I mean, one bedroom is easily asking for more than 80,000. So So yeah, even if it's 500 something square foot.
Wow.
Yes. So,
Wow.
and by the way, the location is amazing. Views is amazing. I mean, you have views of the Ras Al Khor, you have views of the downtown skyline, and so on.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, that's Shoba. I mean, the prices you can search up online. It's well priced, I would say.
Yeah.
But price per square foot is 2,200 per square foot plus. So it's not cheap, but for the quality, it is reasonable. I mean, the quality is amazing.
And
in
that'll
Shoba.
probably go up 2025 once it hands
I
over.
have no idea, but can it go up to 2,500, 2,600 dirham per square foot? That's still a lot, by the way, because once you cross 3,000, you're either a waterfront community, apartment, let's say for like a residential apartment complex,
Or
like
the most
you're a
pristine
penthouse, or you're kind of a fancy community or stuff to cross the 3,000 dirham per square foot for an apartment, not villa townhouse. I'm not speaking about villas or townhouses, because villas and townhouses are making that money, yes, but for apartments to be crossing 3,000 or almost hitting 3,000 dirham per square foot or more, then you must be something. You must be either a waterfront, you must be a pristine community. So let's see. I mean, by the end of 2025, then we could decide if it really hit or it really missed.
Fair enough. I think that's a good note to end the episode, everybody.
I hope I don't get into trouble for this.
Anyways, thank you so much for always watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.